Diddydoms, or just Diddy from Marvel Contest of Champions, and a lot of people have been asking, how I kind of fight, so I figured I'd kind of go through that, and by doing so, show you part of my round of how I've kind of gotten so high in the 4-star event. I'm on a 7 streak right now, and what I'll do is use 3 of my golds to get to the top, and you'll see kind of how I have it laid out. Obviously, I'm going to have my Punisher against Hulk. I could have went Black Panther as well, but Punisher's just a bit stronger, so I prefer that. I'm going to go Spider-Man against Superior Iron Man because he's got a little armor break and critical hits, which will help. Then my Black Panther will take on the Thor, and he's a little bit less anyway. You'll notice, with, as I said, I'm actually on a 6 streak, not a 7 streak, whatever. But that's kind of my point, is when you throw all 3 golds together, you're going to get a little bit higher of a matchup, and these are still pretty low, so I'm only getting about 4,500 per win with my guys right now, except for against the Hulk, which will be a little bit more of a payout. And we'll see how the round goes afterwards to see how much I'm actually getting paid out. But what I'll tend to do is then after I complete this round with these golds, is the AI is still pretty easy from 6 to about what I found 9 if I go all 3 of my golds at the same time. Maybe again that's because I don't have the strongest golds in the world, but I found that's right around where I'll start to need to make some changes. And what I've been doing is actually changing it up in the fact that I'll only go 2 golds, save some units for when I'm recharging. I'm only recharging with 20 units opposed to the 15 or up to 15 units, and I'm only using 10 units to recharge my 2 guys. And I'll pair it with one of my better 3 stars, which I found, and hopefully we'll see in this video, that it actually lowers the total points of the AI when you use all 3 golds. It'll actually increase the PI of your opponent that you face, and again, I think that's primarily just because of the fact that the reward system is also in there, so I think that's taken into consideration. Spider-Man's good for this. See a lot of the critical hits, and then the armor break and weakness certainly helps out a ton. Again, since you've seen some of my guides about fighting guys with PI 2 times or higher, where I'll try to draw out their special 1s and special 2s. In this case, I know I could survive their special 3s because I'm still pretty low. I mean, that was like an even match, which just to say for me, isn't really too even. This match with the Hulk, even though I do have a class advantage, he's around a 22 or 24 PI, and my Punisher's only 1,200, so, obviously that gets factored into it, but I'll be a little bit more cautious with him here. Same deal, if you kind of see how I fight, since now I have Fury, I'm going to do it. I get a lot of my heavy hits, and alright, great, so he's already using his special ones. It makes my life easier. I'm going to use one here. Typically I like to draw bleed damage, but naturally it didn't happen. But I try to do my heavy hits on the Fury. If not, I'll just kind of go back and forth. And here's what I mean, trying to draw out his attack. I still could get a couple hits in before his bar's full. But now, I mean, he's bleeding. I have Fury, but, I just try to keep hitting him. He's losing health as I'm going. I know he's dangerously close to... Yep, there we go. So he's used it. Again, the AI is just not smart. If you're patient enough with it, and if you're consistent with your attacks, like I've kind of been rushing in, the AI tends to pick up on that, and then, when you're rushing in, even though I just got hit, they're using their special too, and even though I took it, it didn't kill me because it doesn't do as much damage. So, that's kind of how I do it in terms of, my fighting strategy. It changes up all the time, and I don't always listen to what I say, so... that's another added factor. But, alright, so that was the 6 streak. Let's go ahead and recharge those 3 guys. And we'll take a look at the 7 streak to see how much more difficult the AI and the PIs become. At 7, again, 9 is where I've been finding that it tends to tap out a little bit. I've got most of my guys ready to go. I kind of just came back from not being able to log in, which... during tournament time or event time is always not too much fun. So I sent in a ticket, but we'll see. So now what I'll notice is, you see two of the guys with the 2300 and then one with the 17. Well, that tells me that the one with the 17, they're all going to be 1750. Now I know I pretty much could beat the Hulk at that point, so I'm going to be a little bit greedy, go for it, and just as we expected, we got the two guys at, or one guy at 1700, one guy low, and then another at 2000, which is again the higher one that we chose. I'm fortunate to have 3 gold, so I'm all going to get the same payout for the higher base level troops or champions. So Spidey, going against a Hawkeye there wouldn't have made sense because he's at a disadvantage. When you do pair up your 2 golds or 2 4-stars with a very, very low champion, a 3-star champion, you kind of don't have that luxury unless you want to take a lower point value, which, again, there's a risk versus reward factor, and by all means, if you think you could take the risk and go for it, even if at a class disadvantage, go for it. But I tend to be a little bit more cautious. I'll take 4,000 points opposed to no points and then losing my streak and having to go all over again. Even though he can stun me, I'm not all too worried about him using his special 3 here, so I could just beat him up pretty easily. Even if he had, I'm very always cautious with stun people because they could just hit me for free, and you're kind of just stuck there not being able to do anything, which is obviously not a fun feeling to be doing that. But again, we were pretty even leveled at that point, so I didn't feel too much of a challenge. Though this battle will be a little bit more difficult. Hawkeye is one of the better characters to be playing with. Against, it's a little bit different because you really have to draw out his troops or his specials. But at the same point, if you get him to special 3 and you could survive it, it's not the worst case scenario because his special 3 actually doesn't make you bleed. But whereas he's already using his special, I blocked an arrow, no bleed damage taken, and I'm in good position here to win this battle. Again, I got lucky. I didn't have to do very much drawing out with that one. Certainly with Hawkeye, you got to be careful because his bleed damage will do a lot. And then you'll see right here, I'm going to drop down almost probably to about half my gauge, or a little bit less than half. But, I'm already in such a good position here that I'm not too worried about it. And, there we go with the win of the battle. Hawkeye's health isn't the best, so I'm pretty confident in that range. Even when he gets to about 2400 PI with the champions that I have, I'm pretty comfortable being able to fight against him. And now we'll go up against the Hulk again. I'm always scared of the Hulk because his special 3 is just so good, and naturally you'll find that you're doing most of the hitting, and Hulk has a passive ability where his Fury pops up. So what you don't want to do is continue to hit him, and then you get trapped, and he's doing about 400 damage per hit. And then, if he's got Fury when he's using that special 3, you're in a lot of trouble. So, again, I'm going to try to stop right here, and I'm going to try to draw out his attack as much as possible, and we'll see if that works. Possibly. He doesn't look like he's going to do it, but you never know. And the nice thing about this is that now I'm in trouble, so he's already got his special 3, and now he's got Fury, which is even worse. But, yep, so now he's going to use it. I'm going to be down a lot of health here. So, again, I could survive because I didn't take a lot of hits from him, but you never really want to get in that scenario. And at this point, I'm got Fury. He's pretty low, so he's not going to build up that meter all the way back up to 3 by the time I was able to beat him in that respect. So that's why, if he does get the special 3, make sure that he's not hitting you. You saw kind of how I did it where I'm doing a lot of the damage, and, what I strive for is to be sure that I'm not going to be able to get beat up with one hit. And then, obviously, if you do, you can't do much about it. Real quick, because the scores kind of just went. You saw I got 5,000 and then 6,000 from my Spider-Man and Black Panther, and I got about 8,000 from my Punisher. So again, just a really good payout, almost close to 8 grand, if not more than 8 grand. So again, we're going to recharge him here. Probably our last recharge for all 3. and see how we do one last time. And again, you'll see how the PIs go up. So, I'll go against the Hulk again. I hate doing it, but there's not much of a choice. So how I'm going to do this is I'm going to make my Spider-Man go against Colossus for the fact that I could get his armor break. Again, I could get my Black Panther against Hawkeye, so I'm not a problem, and I have my class advantage against the Hulk. And now again, we're at the 7 or 8 mark in terms of my streak, and you'll notice when I have all three, at this point, we saw last round we had one high guy at the 2300, one 1800, and then a 1300. Now we're at the point where we're getting all 1700s and one 2400 guy, which tells me that if I am able to win all three, I get a nice big payout. Which would be 6,000 from each of my lower two guys, as well as the 8,000 if I'm able to beat the Hulk again, which hopefully is the case. You'll notice one of my fighting strategies, if you haven't picked up on it, is almost every step I do is back. Even after a combo, a step back and block, my finger is almost always on the screen to the left side of the screen, so that's kind of why I'm able to block so well. And of course, that didn't do too much. That wasn't good. So now I'm in pretty bad position here. So I kind of have to hope up and hope that I get so much. And see, the other thing that I've noticed is the AI tend to have patterns. And you'll notice it here with this Hawkeye is he is using his special one, and he's very aggressive right now. So I'm going to have to be pretty aggressive too, and hope that he doesn't hit me with any more of his stuff. But he's using his specials very much so. Unfortunately, I got hit by one of them. So, again, I'm going to have to do some work to play catch-up, and if I want to come away with a win here, it's going to be close. I typically like to, wait for my bleeds to come out, but I don't think I'm going to have that luxury here. See how I'm letting my bleeds work out, and it's going to be close here. Got to make sure that I don't do anything stupid, and luckily, we're able to beat him. But you saw, very aggressive Hawkeye on that one. Using his special ones right away. Typically, that's not the case, which is primarily why I got hit by it. But after that point, I realized it pretty quick that he's going to be using his specials. So I have to be careful. And at that point, you do a little bit less dodging and stick with the blocking and hopefully, hope for the best. And again, you saw I was pretty down in that one, but I was able to clean it up and get him away with a win. And that's another 6,000 points for me. So that's always helpful too. So yeah, again, he's pretty aggressive right now. They don't usually do this, which, hey, it's fine by me. It works for my style if they want to be aggressive. Again, it's really just a quick step back and then jab forward. I don't know if anyone plays sports or does a little bit of boxing, but that's how I look at it in my mind. It's probably not best, whatever. It's how I look at it. So yeah, critical's up. I'm in good shape. I haven't been hit yet. I'd be able to survive his special 3, but I'm going to be a little bit cautious because, again, he showed us that, he's been using his, and again, he's going to be ahead and use it. So now we're in a really good position. I'm not worried at all. By the time it takes him to get up to special 3, he's long done. He didn't even get back up to his special 2. So yeah, that's kind of how, when my guy to talk about going in and jabbing and then coming back out, you'll see I do a lot of that, and for whatever reason, they tend to use their specials. The other part too is that I've noticed when you're in the 6 to 11 range for the streak, the AI tends to not be as good. So it's a good chance for you to use all your golds, as in previous guides have told us, and just do well and then build up from there. When you don't want to have to rely on just your golds for the purpose of doing it between 11 and 13, because then you're not going to do too well. And of course, I wasn't paying as much attention, and I just got hit pretty hard, and I'm probably going to get beat up in this one. We'll see. Hopefully I'll pull away with a victory. Not a lot of health left, so I'm going to be cautious. Yeah, wait for them to be dumb is my way to do it, pretty much. And of course, he's going to be able to get hit at some blocks. So my game's lagging a little bit apparently, but I wasn't paying attention at the beginning of that because I was kind of talking, but able to come away with a quick win there. I don't even know how to describe that battle. I was going so quick. So I'm at that 9 streak now. If I recharge all 3 of my guys, I'm pretty aware that I'll run into this scenario where I'll get two 2400s and a 1700. That's a big payout. It's a lot of units. Again, I'm trying to maximize my units when I do this. You'll see I'm at 355. I'll test it out just to show you that, that's my theory. And then once we get to 10, I'll probably make that my last battle just to show you the difference between who I get with, 3 golds opposed to 2 golds and 1 3-star. And obviously there's a little bit of a PI difference. Thankfully, I didn't get the Hulk again, so that's great news. Alright, so yeah. Alright, we got a little bit lucky. In the respect that we didn't come away with what I anticipated, where it was two 2400s, but it stuck to the 17, 18, and then the one high guy. I'm going to do this the way that, in terms of my battles matched up, I'm pretty sure I could always beat Captain America. He's just really not that good, and I have a class bonus against him, so I'm going to put my weaker of the two against him. And then Captain Marvel is where I'll put my Punisher. And then Armor Break for Spider-Man because he can break it. So let's hope this goes well. This will be the last time I use all 3. I'll do one more matchup after this just to show you the difference within that 6 to 11 range with putting a 3-star character there. And maybe there isn't. We'll see and test it out. But let's see how we do. Hopefully we come away with another 3 wins altogether. Get some big points. He's beating me up, but we'll be okay. I always hate the guys with armor. And then I've got Spider-Man, and he was a lot better than I anticipated he would be. I was always worried about his health, and for good reason. Now he's getting beat up, but that's a big armor break. My game's a little laggy, I don't know why. But I should be okay in this one as long as I don't let him charge up, and of course he blocked that, so that didn't help. Yeah, my game's really laggy right now. But we'll see if we can come away with a win here. So using specials as a defense is kind of what I just did there. I still got knocked out. I'm going to blame that on lag. But he hit me pretty early with his specials, and I just wasn't ready for it. And again, as you go forward, the AI gets turned up too. So, that's kind of what it was. Not my best battle. Well, move on. Hopefully we win 2 of the last 3 here. Again, I feel pretty good about beating Captain America, so this will be the big battle in my mind. So hopefully we'll come away with victory. You see how the AI is getting a little bit more aggressive as you go forward. And again, this to me seems laggy, but I don't want to make excuses either. I'm just combination of talking and playing at the same time. It's not something I used to do. I talk to myself when I do it, but I don't really play that much. So I need to be a little bit better here. Again, I don't like going where I don't have a class bonus, of course, but that's why I put Punisher there. I'm going to get away from the heavy attacks because that seemed to get me into trouble. Good evade there. So she's blocking, so now I feel okay using it. When they start to block more, that's when you can get away with the heavy attacks. And, she's been using the heavy attack, or her special one, on a normal basis. So, luckily able to come away with a win there. Even though it didn't look great in the beginning. See, that's a nice thing, too, when you have the guys at this health, opposed to some of your 2-stars characters, you could come back from being down early. So again, not too worried ever with Punisher because he's able to do a ton of damage for the level he's at. And again, I feel comfortable with Captain America. Naturally, I'll probably wind up losing it because I said that and I'm making the video, but we'll see how it goes. That's the other thing. That was probably the first one you'll see of it where they're using a heavy attack. A lot of the time I used to just run in and try to hit them before they got it off, and then because of that I'd get hit by it a lot and I stopped doing it. So what I'll tend to do is just wait it out and let them do it, and then I'll hit them afterwards. So they're using all of their special ones in this. Again, I don't know if that's just an AI thing where they're doing it, but it works out for me. I'm not going to complain. I'll sit back, let all the bleed damage cut through, because I don't have a duplicate of Black Panther, I can't have my bleed stack, even though I just went ahead and did his special anyway. I always like to let it bleed out. You know, it does more damage, and there's no penalty for having it do that. You see how it'll stack up kind of on the right? You know, it doesn't reset and do 2 at a time where he's losing 120 health. It's just the standard 61. So, I'll let that happen. But, again, I'm not too worried with Captain America. He doesn't do a ton of damage. So, good for me. Helps me out. So, was able to come away with 2 of 3 wins there. Poor battle with Spider-Man in the beginning. But, again, AI gets a little tougher. No class bonus. Still coming away with 14 grand. I'm over 700,000 now. So we'll do one more just to test it out, and then I'm going to sign off because this video is probably getting pretty long. My runs in the video in the 4-star take about 40 minutes if I'd have to average it. But again, that's also with recharging my guys. So I'm going to leave Black Panther out. I believe he's my worst one, or worst of the 2. And I'm actually going to use my Colossus in here. He's about 1,000 PI. And my game's really laggy. So what I'll do is, let's test it out. Let's see what kind of an opponent we get. If it's the same type of level, if it's any lower, you know, we'll see. So Hulk again. It looks to be about the same. We're not gaining or losing anything here. So yeah, it's actually exactly the same. So, you know, I guess that theory is kind of out the window in terms of using 3 golds opposed to golds and 2. So maybe it's not. But again, it's the fact that it didn't change at all also leads me to believe that maybe, you know, if I had gone 3 golds again, that maybe it would have taken that step up. But maybe not. So, you know, we all have different theories, and that's kind of, I guess, what we're testing out at the moment. So, didn't pan out the way I anticipated it doing, but hey, that's what we're here for, and that's what we're testing out. And so I gotta win this battle. I should be able to win all 3 if everything goes well, but you never know, especially with that. Hulk at the end, and I'm getting beat up pretty good. So I'm not playing too well in this one, and this was a battle I really needed. Not just for the sake of battling, but for the sake of he's blocking all my special ones, which is not good, because Spider-Man doesn't have good special 2. There we go. So we got to really draw this out now. And now I don't really have that luxury. Now I really don't have that luxury because I hit him too much. So hopefully we're able to get him here. I don't think it'll happen, but you never know. There you go. So I got pretty lucky there. Yeah, I shouldn't have won that battle. You know, you take it in stride when you can. Yeah, I had no reason to win that battle. He had his 3 specials saved up, didn't use them, worked to my advantage, and I got him pretty much on that last critical of his special one, Spidey, so very lucky in that respect. So let's see how we do against Colossus. Colossus, I think, is one of my better characters, just because he takes so much damage, and the bleed factor is great. When he goes against himself, though, it's a little bit difficult because he has a lot of health, and the armor also doesn't help. So, able to get that 2 special out, and he's doing his 1 specials as well, which is fine by me. So this is typically going to be a longer battle, just because they both have a ton of health, and you know, I'm not doing a good job. I'm getting hit by his special ones, but the other thing you have to remember too, what's different against the arena, oop, that's not good. So what's different about the arena and what's different about Quest is that in Quest you really need to kind of save up all your people. In the arena, you just need to win 1 battle. So that'll come to our favor. Hopefully we'll be able to knock him out. I'm not too worried. Now I'm a little bit worried about his special 3, because that's probably going to knock him out because he gets an armor boost. But no, I think I had my armor going as well. So I got a little bit lucky there. We're not going to let him get back up to special 3. So again, you'll kind of see what I did there. I had him, where I had a big hit where I had to cover a lot of ground, and then he started running up on his own. I feel like that also tends to bring out a lot of specials. So that is something I've learned, where if you do after a heavy hit or a big hit where he's going back a little bit more, and then you start running up, typically it needs a little bit more distance than what happened on that one, and I'm going to get knocked out on that one now. Oh well, so lost there. If I came away with a win there, that was a bonus. But you'll notice too, like, it'll show you real quick, I could only get 1,600 points, which would have been in the 4,800 range. So, it's not as big of a bonus, but, you obviously want that amount. At the end of the round, you're talking the difference between 18k or 14k if I'm able to win here with Punisher. Hopefully I am, because that would be a nice little 800k or 8k that I'd be able to tack on to my bonus. Hopefully I'll be able to fix these little bit of a lag issues that are going on right now. I kind of knew he was going to do his special 2 on that. He's been consistently hitting me with that special 2 throughout this video, so this time I was prepared. And again, it's just about noticing patterns. When you play as much as I do, you tend to pick up on some things, like him using his special right there. I always take a jump back, even if I know I'm far enough back, because he scares me beyond belief. I'm scared of the Hulk. I'm not afraid to say it, but I think I beat him every time in this video, so that worked out in our favor. But I'm terrified of him. So I'm gonna go ahead and sign off. I think we got that pop up that my storage is almost full anyway. But again, real quick recap. I got 14k from that. Could have potentially gotten about 18k, and we're right around that 11. We are at the 11 win streak mark, which means I'm not going to continue to use all of my gold with a good guy PI. I'm going to drag him down from here. But, you got to see me be able to fight a little bit. So I'm going to sign off here. Going to help out my Alliance guys, and then call it a day for this video. I have no idea how long it is. Actually curious to see how long it is, just because of the fact that I haven't really done these before, and curious to see how long it takes for me to go through a round, because I never really do keep track of time. But anyway, so hopefully these helps good. I'm going to sign off, guys. Diddydoms.